Hello and welcome to the transcription explanation of these designs. They all actually say the same thing. I just did a couple different layouts to try to get something that I think would work well for the requested tattoo. This script was something me and my friends came up with in high school to pass notes and get up to shenanigans that then went viral to the point of being adopted on the largest time-traveling franchise in the world as the time traveler's language on Doctor Who, Circular Gallifreyan. So I have been involved with the script since the very beginning, and above me is a key for reading the script. And the consonants are in the big grid up here, and the different columns are if they have dots on them for these ones, or if there's lines on them for these ones. And then the different rows are made by these four different letter stems up here. So in the top row there's a horseshoe shape like a deep divot or an omega sign. Then in the next row there's a floating circle, so it's a fully completed circle. It's just floating inside our word circle. Then the third row is a shallow divot, which is 50% or less of a circle. Then the last row is a crossing circle, so it's a full circle that crosses the word circle. And then last but not least, vowels are these little guys down here. And they're all based around the E vowel, which is centered. It's right on the line of the word circle, or it's centered in the center of the consonant if it's attached to consonants, because you can put vowels on consonants, which is what all those little circles are on those different consonants. So yeah, let's go ahead and start reading some of these designs. So first things first, this big old chunk here in the center that you see the same for all three designs is the word strong. And that's because, as requested, I wanted to put a little bit more emphasis and make it stand out a bit more. In this design, I have call yourself what you wish to become, period, strong. And then in this design, I have call yourself what you wish to become strong. So there's no period on this design, but it's in a completely separate sentence circle because I have the sentence of call yourself what you wish to become going around the word strong. And then in this one, it's exactly the same as the other one. I just added this like darker inner bit to kind of add a little bit more contrast, though when looking at it more in a contextual reference, I think it needs something to make it less all like see-through, because the idea is to have a colored background like space and then have it see through to skin where the design is, so the design is actually going to be in the negative. But it could look really cool to have some shading or something in this blank space here as well as in here. So anyway, those are the three layouts. And you'll notice that I read each one starting at the bottom and going counterclockwise. And that's because you read the script starting at the bottom and then going counterclockwise, like a time traveler going back in time. And that's true for the words in a letter as well as the letters in a sentence. So yeah, let's go ahead and I'm going to start with this one, this design here, which is, again, the same for both of these. Come on, move. There we go. So starting at the bottom, going counterclockwise, the first letter we have on this word circle here is a floating circle, and it has some dots. Now figuring out which dots go to which letter is kind of tricky, because there's so many dots. So you have to look at each dot and decide which letter it's closest to. And there are 1, 2 with that one, and then 1, 2, 3 with that one, 1, 2, 3 with that one. So our first letter has 2 dots on it. And if you look at the grid above me, the one in the second row and then in the column with 2 dots is actually the letter K. And that's because in the script you can swap the letter C to an S or a K or even a CH or SH depending on the sound it makes. So that's why Sirkles, Sirkles, is spelled like that, because the first C in Sirkles goes, and the second C in Sirkles goes K. So that's why the K is here at the beginning of call, because it's a K sound. So here's our K, and then our A is outside the word circle, and then we have this one, which we have 3 dots on it, so that's an L, and here's another L, so call. This circle crosses the line of the word circle, and the difference between this circle and like something like this, like a little guy, is size. Simply size. Size is what changes a consonant to a vowel. If the consonant is too small, it'll look like a vowel, and if the vowel is too big, it'll look like a consonant. So here we have a consonant because it's bigger than the 2 vowels, and it is right crossing the line of the word circle, so that would be a Y because it has 2 dots. O, floating inside the word circle, then a U with a line going outwards, R, shallow divot, 3 dots. S is a shallow divot with 1, 2, 3 lines. E centered on the line of the word circle. L with 3 dots, and then a deep divot, 1, 2, 3 lines for the F. So these 3 lines I did similarly. This is just a shallow divot where that's a deep divot, so that's the yourself. And if I'm going to look at this one, you can see we have our C with the 2 dots, A outside the word circle, L, L. So they're all in the same spots. This can be kind of tricky to see because this looks like a shallow divot, so this looks like an SH, but if we look at actually our word circle line here, this crosses and is a Y with the 2 dots there. O-U-R S-E-L with 3 dots, F. So, yeah. This is a bit trickier to read just because it has this extra dealio that doesn't really do anything for the translation except look kind of confusing because it has bonus shallow divots and deep divots when there's shallow divots or deep divots in the design. But yeah. Then we have what? We have a shallow divot with 1 dot, which is a WH, A outside the word circle, and then a shallow divot with nothing on it for the T. And again, that's the same over here, WH-A-T. Another Y, 2 dots on a crossing circle, just like this Y, and then an O floating inside and a U with a line going out, just like this one over here. And then we have a shallow divot with 1, 2 lines on it, so that's a W. I line going inwards, and then an actual SH with 2 dots on a shallow divot. And if we again look over here, shallow divot, 2 dots, it's done again exactly the same. Though this one I do have the lines a little bit thinner. This one since it was like already kind of empty, I was able to make the lines a bit thicker in this one. Adding thickness or decreasing thickness to the lines is quite simple because Inkscape lets you change how much a path is stroked or how thick that stroke line is. So anyway, yeah, we're on Wish, W-I-S-H. T, shallow divot, no modifiers. O, floating inside our word circle. B is a deep divot with no modifiers. E, centered right in the middle of that. And then another K with 2 dots for the C and become, but again, the K is a K because of what I said earlier about swapping the C to an S or K. O, floating inside. This M has 1, 2, 3 lines on it, and then the E. So, yeah, that's that design. And I'm gonna sneeze. Okay. And then we have strong. And you'll notice there are 1, 2, 3 kind of concentric rings here in this first set of letters. And that is because S, T, and R are all in the same row. They're all shallow divots. And that means we can stack them. And when they're stacked letters like this, you read thin to thick. So this thinnest line here with the 1, 2, 3 lines on it is going to be read first, which is good because the 1, 2, 3 lines on a shallow divot is an S. Then this medium one has no dots or lines on it, so that's the T, and then this thickest one has 1, 2, 3 dots closest to it, so that would be the R, and then last but not least is the vowel on the stack, because you read all the consonants before the vowels. The line thickness on the vowels will change like what order the vowels are in compared to the other vowels, but not compared to the consonants, because consonants are read before vowels. The only way to bring a vowel in front of a consonant is to slash it, and we're not going to get into that kind of crazy letter stacking. And the reason why these 3 dots have to go with this R instead of with this crossing circle is because this crossing circle already has 3 lines on it. And if there's 3 lines on it, that makes it an NG. So, S-T-R-O-N-G. So, that is strong. And that's done the same for this design as well as this design. And the reason why this one is a little sideways is, well, I just rotated it because you still start at the bottom and you still go counterclockwise, so we still hit the S-T-R-O before the NG. So, yeah. That's how you read these 2 designs, as well as the strong in this design, but I want to go through and read this, actual, like, bit here where I have the call yourself what you wish to become. So, starting at the bottom, we have this floating circle inside our word circle with 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. This time I actually used the letter C instead of a K, and then an A outside the word circle, so C-A, and then we have 2 L's with the 3 dots, so C-A-L-L, Y with 2 dots, O floating, so again, the O is internal, so that means it's like on the Y stem itself, just like this one, when it is attached, U with a line going outwards, R with 3 dots, S with 3 lines, using those same letter stacking rules with the dots on the thin one because the thin is the R and the R is before the S and you read thin to thick. E centered, L with 3 dots. This thick line is actually just part of the F. So you see how there's these 1, 2, 3 lines all ending on that F? Well, that's because an F has 3 lines. Yippee. Those are just the F lines. Then we have a shallow divot here with 1 dot, so that's a WH. A outside the word circle. A shallow divot with nothing is a T. Y has 2 dots. O floating, well, it's not floating because it's on the line of the consonant stem, but it's still internal, so it's still an O. And then a U with a line going outwards, so U. This shallow divot has 2 lines on it, so that's a W. I has a line going inwards. SH has 2 dots. T is a shallow divot with nothing on it, and this O is just same as these other O's. They are attached to the consonant stem, so that would be a O on the T. And then this deep divot doesn't actually have anything ending on it. These 3 lines go here, and these 4 dots are all on that circle. Well, they're within this circle, so they're outside the deep divot. So being within something is closer than being outside of something. But we have a deep divot with nothing, so that's a B. The E is still inside that, so it's still an E. If it were outside, it'd be an A. If it were on the line, it'd be an O. 4 dots on the actual C instead of a K. And then an O floating inside the word circle. This M has 1, 2, 3 lines on it, and then the E is centered again inside that M. And then we have a period at the end of that sentence. So yeah, we have call yourself what you wish to become. Period. Strong. And that's that design. I hope you like it. Thanks. Bye.